to the Authentic Advantage. Today's conversation is one I think a lot of leaders, especially in HR, are going to feel deeply about. Because we spend a lot of time talking about company culture, burnout, leadership, and employee retention, but we rarely talk about the emotional weight that people in HR are carrying while they're trying to hold the whole org together. So today, I am joined by Nakia Lashal, HR Director at Celerium and founder of HR Exhale. It's a retreat, a movement, and it's built to help HR professionals finally breathe again. But what stood out to me about Nakia is that she doesn't just talk about HR strategy. She talks about the human side of leadership, the exhaustion behind constantly being the one everyone leans on, and the pressure of leading people while trying not to lose yourself in the process. And on top of all of that, she's also an author, of course, a retreat host, and someone creating space for honest conversations around leadership, emotional resilience, and what it really takes to lead from a full tank instead of an empty one. So let's get right into it. Nakia, I am so excited to have you here. Thank you for joining me.
Thank you for having me.
Absolutely. We've had such wonderful conversation. You have beautiful energy. So we're going to kick it off with something fun so we can get to know you. Now, I'd like to know between a coffee shop, cabin, or luxury hotel, or the beach, we'll add the beach in there, where do you truly recharge?
A luxury hotel at the beach.
Okay, yes. Okay. We need to go on vacation together.
Yeah, let's go.
If you could change one thing about corporate culture overnight, what would it be?
I would get rid of the word culture. Like it's so overused, right? Because it just depends on the person and the culture you want changes with every person, not the company, but with every person, what they want from a company, the kind of working environment. Like, so I think would force people to make a decision. Like, what are you looking for? Is it more PTO? Is it a company that says, yeah, we're gonna pay for your vacation every year? Like, go for what you're looking for instead of trying to force a company to be what you want them to be.
I love that. So, speaking of people, right? Because that's what it's about, the person.
Yeah.
Tell us a little bit more about you, and before we dive into the rest.
So I have been in operations and HR for oh 20 plus years. That's all I'm going to say. For 20 plus years. And I think first I was always going down this HR direction like the entire time. The first time someone called me HR, I was working for a startup and they're like, "Well, you're the HR department." And I was like, "I am. That's not what I'm operation." But
Right.
I was HR and I didn't but once he said it, I realized that's my role now. And I leaned into it and I loved it until it became my full-time role at a different company. I became HR full-time. It's my sweet spot for sure. So
I love that. So,
that's
clearly, you love what you do.
I do. I love this position. I do.
And if you have passion for what you're doing, everybody's going to see that through your work. So, was there a moment in your career where you realized HR leaders were carrying like way more emotionally than people really saw?
Absolutely. I think last year was a breaking point for me when I was like, it was just so much coming at me at once to open enrollment. We had some restructuring. Like it was just so much at one time happening, and I had to like plug all the holes, right? And
Yeah.
I was burned out by January. I was burned out January, February of this year. I was like, okay, I'm burned out. And the only people that I can talk to are other HR professionals because they're gonna understand, they get it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, why do you think HR professionals are the most, emotionally exhausted people in an org,
Because we carry the people weight. Like, right? We
right?
have to have
Yeah.
all the empathy, but we have to know the law. We have to be a soft shoulder, but we have to be stern because this isn't legal or right the compliance and what does the law say. So we have to carry it all, and there's a delicate balance there between empathy and the law. Like what can we do, what can we not do, and having to balance all of that when you have a person, a human in front of you that this decision is going to affect, it affects you. You may not show it. You may be stoic when you're verbalizing the decisions that you have to make, but inside, you're in turmoil. I once was talking to a friend who her organization was laying off a significant amount of people. And I'm like, oh my goodness, my heart is bleeding for you right now. Is what I do. I listen to like soft jazz music before, right? I say my mantras, like to prepare for this because it's always tough. I don't care how many times you have to lay someone off, tell someone their position is being eliminated, tell someone, well, this is your last day, even if they were the worst employee in the world. It never gets easier because you're not just affecting this person, you're affecting their entire family. And it's
Yeah.
tough. It never gets easier. You never get used to it.
I can only imagine the emotional weight that you have, and we often don't think about that. And you and I talked about this, last time. And it's not like you can really befriend everyone in the company because of your role. And like you said earlier, the only people you have to speak to are other HR
Yes.
professionals.
Yes,
Yeah,
honestly,
which
they
is why
just
I'm glad we're shedding light, right? Because I don't
yeah,
think a lot of people realize this.
no.
And it's also the reason you started your retreat, which we're going to dive into a little bit. I'm really excited about. It's so amazing. Do you think companies truly support HR or do they mostly rely on you guys to support everyone else? Like, do you feel
Absolutely.
supported when you're
I am not an employee, so no. I am here for the employees. And that means all the employees, the CEO, the CFO, the payroll special. I'm here for every person, but there is no one in the company that I can go to because I'm always speaking to an employee. And
so
that's it.
you're really on an island?
But who do you go to? If you have a
Right.
team, yeah, you can talk amongst each other, but for a lot of people, HR is a department of one, like myself. I can't express myself to other employees within the organization because here's the thing. If I am scared, if I am worried, well, now all the employees are going to be scared and worried too. Because if HR is terrified, right, about what's going on in the company, then I should be scared. So I can never go to employees.
Kind of
No,
reminds me of a flight attendant, right? Like they can't show fear on their face. Otherwise
no,
everyone's going to freak out.
it's just like that. I never put those 2 things together, but it's just like that because if the flight attendant freaks out because things are getting bumpy, then everybody on that plane is gonna freak out.
Yeah.
Everybody. So
1000%. That was the
that
first thing that came to mind when you said that. And I can see why.
that
You and I have talked a lot about authenticity, and it's
yeah.
something you and I feel very deeply about. Why do you think people are afraid to show up honestly at work?
I think it's because and I find that people who are younger in their careers are afraid to show up as their authentic selves, right? Than people who have settled in because it just comes with age and wisdom, right? The more comfortable you become with yourself, and then you're like, I'm just going to show up like this everywhere, right? I believe years ago, I was more of a people pleaser. And this is before I was even in HR. I wanted to please everybody. I wanted to give everybody what they needed. Well, then everybody's walking all over me, right? And so then it's like,
Yeah.
I don't, this isn't working either. But I remember I started showing up as my authentic self at work. I want to say it was 6 years ago, right? Because I work in mostly male dominated fields. So usually tech, high tech. So I'm the only woman, the only black person. And so I'm trying to hide all of that and have this bravado like the men around me when that's not who I am.
Yep.
So I said, you know what? My empathy is okay. My heart is okay. And that's why I'm in this role. And I can speak up and speak for the people. And I don't have to raise my voice. I don't have to match wits or match temperature with someone else. I can show up just like this, calm, relaxed, because that's truly who I am. And I think that's an asset for women. And I wish more women would show up this way instead of trying to like cosplay as the guy in the office. We don't have to do that.
To fit in, yeah.
Right. We don't. We think we do, but men are just being men. Well, women, we can just be women, like in the workplace. And so now that's how I approach work. And as it relates to like my personal life, I love to travel. That's not something I used to talk about during job interviews, not something I would talk about like with my coworkers. I just go off for the weekend and come back and never say anything. Then I'm like, well, that's a huge part of who I am.
Yeah.
Right?
That's the person behind all the work and accomplishments.
It's true. I didn't think I didn't think that they would think that I would show up for my job if this is how I live my life Friday through Saturday or my 40-hour vacation week. But I stopped doing that. I stopped doing that and I show up with all of my joy, all of my passion to this job. And then if it doesn't fit for them, then that we're not a good fit and I should go work somewhere else and that's okay too.
Yeah, I always say, when problems like that arise, ask yourself if you're in the right room.
Yes, yes.
So, on that same topic, what happens to company culture when leaders are operating from fear instead of trust?
Now, it's the same thing about like the flight attendant and the HR person, right? The employees are going to pick up from the fear from who they report to because the manager is truly the first line of defense. Leadership, like the people leaders are they're the first line of defense for retaining employees, for employee happiness, employee satisfaction. Not me, not me,
Right.
person setting up the automatic birthday emails. I'm not the first line of defense. It's the manager. So having a manager that you can trust, that you can talk to, that you can say, I'm having a hard day. And that manager can say to you, well, okay, let's talk about it. What do we need? Like I have the perfect example of a manager, the company that I work for now, he is an amazing manager. Like I see like some of the notes that he'll write about the employees, the things that they can come to him and talk about. And they have such a great relationship and amazing retention within that department because he leads from a very honest perspective and they trust him. They don't fear him at all. His team, they really, really trust him. And I could say that about a lot of the managers where I work, right? Their teams really trust them and will do anything.
Yeah, you're right. But oftentimes, working in high tech, I come from there too. They are leading from fear, and so
Yes,
they don't have that same relationship, and to your point, when you lead from heart authenticity, it's felt. The trust is
it is.
automatic usually,
Yes.
right? And so you could just tell, like, if they're the way they're writing notes and what they can come to him about or her.
For training, when someone is going to be a people manager, there needs to be more training, but a lot of times there's not enough time, right?
Yeah,
You
yeah.
gotta get the job done, do the training, have a life, right? Pick your kids up from football practice. Like there's so much to do and you don't have a lot of time. And you as a person, like I can assign this training to you, but if that's not important to you, you're just gonna click through the module and answer the questions according to the way you think they should be answered
Yeah.
versus taking it to heart and really leaning into the training so you can develop these skills, so you can be a
Now
better people leader.
yeah, a whole other topic, emotional intelligence, like, that just goes so far in the workplace.
Yeah.
Well, I was super excited to talk about this topic because I just think it's the highlight of everything that you're doing. It's HR Excel. It's the retreat that you started for other HR professionals. And I haven't seen anything like it in the industry, which I think is just so awesome that you started this. So I love the concept. How did the idea come to life originally?
Like, I was looking for it. Like, yeah,
Right.
I go to the HR conferences, right? And
Right.
but it was all about what am I taking back to the organization? But I was like, but what's in it for me personally? I'm here with thousands of char managers and I don't have time to talk to them because I'm running from session to session. I got my notepad out and I'm furiously taking
Right.
and but when we talk about like, oh, mental health and wellness, I mean, they didn't mention me. They said this is how you talk to the employees about it. Well, who's talking to me about my well-being and my mental health after being burned out last year? Where do I go? And there was nowhere. And so they say that sometimes you have a need and that's your job to fill it. And so then I said,
Yeah.
think I'll create something. So I just like posted in a HR group that I'm in and I said, would anybody be interested in a fun week? If you had a year like me, would you be interested in a fun weekend in New Orleans where we talk and breathe, right? And
Right.
people were like Yes, 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 yes. I need it yesterday. And I'm like, okay, well, I guess I asked the question. I have to plan it. And then once I started planning, I'm like, well, this is professional development, right? And companies should pay for this. Like, you have asked a lot of your HR team. You should
Hmm.
for the relief that they need as a result of all the things you asked us to do this year. So
Absolutely.
then I said, well, it needs to be real in order for that to happen. So I need a website and this and that. And I just kept going and going and going until it became like a real event. And I call it the unconference because there's no networking, there's no running from session to session, right? There
It's
are
a true retreat. Like
a true
people go
retreat
here to relax.
to
Yeah.
relax. We are talking. You are being seen. You haven't
Mm.
been seen all year, but you are being seen. You are being heard, right? You are being welcomed, loved on. Like that's what we need because we live in a world of HR is not your friend, and I hate HR. And if whatever you do, don't go to HR. HR is looking out for the company. No, HR is looking to make sure that we all have a job tomorrow, right? All of us. I need my job tomorrow. No one is bigger than the company, not one person, because the company is providing our paycheck. So we all have to do our part, right? And my part just so happens to be the people part. And so just hearing all of that and seeing that on LinkedIn was really taking a toll on me because I'm like, you really don't know what HR is and what it's for and how it benefits you and how we're fighting in rooms that you're not even in, fighting for your benefit,
Yeah.
fighting with benefit brokers, like everywhere, right? Oh, we're going to raise the rates. No, you're not. Our people can't afford that. But you don't see that part. And that's a lot of weight. And so I said, we need a place where we can talk about all the good things that we do, right? That we bring.
Yeah, amongst each other and bringing that energy. But I also, one of the reasons why I wanted to have this conversation with you is because I'll be the first to admit I was the same way. The feeling that I had towards HR is everything you just said because I didn't have the best experiences. We need to have a different view of HR and figure out how we get there, right? Something happened along the way where people are scared and fear HR, but I agree with you. And now you guys are in a situation. So what can people expect then when they go on a retreat, right? And I think you said last time you're going to be doing like one a quarter and you're going to have it traveling around the United States. Tell me a little more about that.
Eventually once a quarter right now because of my bandwidth once a year. So we just had the first in May in New Orleans, May 1 through 3, and the next one will be next year. I think that same last weekend of April. Um in it'll be in Southern California next year. And it's like the first night there's an opening reception. We set our intentions for the weekend. You have to take this armor off. Like we wear
Yeah.
armor every single day and it's so heavy because we're trying to protect ourselves, protect the company, protect you. It's crazy. And so
Right.
take the armor off day one. You don't need it anymore for the rest of the weekend. You can pick it back up on Monday morning when you go back to work. And then there will be like we have massages and group dinners and just some leisure time, like, some activities in there just to help you decompress, right? That's what the activities center on, the decompressing, relaxing your nervous system, which is really important because you've been holding your breath, holding
Yeah.
like your cheeks, everything. You're just all wound up. So it's centered around relaxing you, getting centered and grounded. So when you go back to work on Monday, you are talking to employees about issues that matter to them from a place of your own internal peace. And that helps to shape the decisions that you are making, what you can offer them. You are taking your time, right? And if an employee comes to me,
Yeah.
it's something I need. And then I'm not going to rush through the research because I'm relaxed. I'm like, okay, well, here are your options. Let's figure out what's best for you. Things like that. So that's mainly what it's for. And I believe that travel is healing, like taking a step away. And this is for any role, any job. You have to take time away from the company, out of your own home, out of your own backyard, and go somewhere else where you can actually breathe. Right, where the load of laundry isn't waiting for you, and this is any role, but in particular, we're talking about for HR professionals. Like you can't hide in your bed all weekend. You don't have to do that. Come hide out with us all weekend outside
Yeah.
out and breathe fresh air. So there's no fluorescent lighting. Wherever we go, it has to be outside.
I love that. And it's
Yeah.
gonna be at a different location
Yes. I'm
each
excited.
year. Yeah.
I'm planning next year, so I have my fingers crossed. I don't want to release and be held to anything, but it's going to be amazing next year. And we keep it small, so it's very intentional, which is why we plan to have like one a quarter because we're not going
Yeah.
to stop. Well, I don't know what we're going to end up one day, right? But I'm thinking small group, right? 25 people, something that's manageable, breathable. You don't feel overwhelmed. Like that's the goal.
Well, I just came up with a new business idea. There's a need. We need HR for HR, right?
We do. We
It's gonna be a
do.
never-ending cycle. HR for HR for
But then that
HR.
HR is gonna need an HR, right? So
I know.
we just have to
This
train
is the
lead.
perfect balance. Yeah.
Let me tell you this. This happened after I launched HR Exhale. I shared the website with my boss at work, who's the CFO. I shared it with him, and he was into it. Like that's what I do love where I work, and I love the people that I work with, right? But I had to choose this. I chose
Yes.
Um,
Yes, yes.
but I shared it with him, and that's something I usually wouldn't do, share what I'm working on personally because I don't want anyone to think that it's interfering with the job that I do. Well, I shared it with him and he got so excited. He was so excited about this. And he's giving me ideas like people I should try to reach out to help grow it. Like it made me very happy. And then because I have performance evaluations too. I have performance discussions too. Just because I'm HR doesn't mean I don't have this. Well, when we were talking about, so then a couple of weeks later, we had my performance evaluation, and he said last year was really tough for you, huh? And I know it's because of HR Exhale that he went through the website, he read it, he could feel that maybe that was
He
tough for.
truly cared. Yeah.
He really does. Like we have a great relationship. But the fact that when I presented this to him, he read it, and then when he came back to have a discussion with me, he made this a point of discussion during my performance. Like, hey, and you know what? That was a lot, and I get it, and you probably felt alone. So, Chart Excel, sending that to your boss is a good conversation starter about how you
Yeah.
truly feeling, right? Because during that, I felt seen. I felt like he heard me without me having to explain everything. And I
And that
think
he
that's really,
cared.
and
Yeah.
that he cared. It's really important. Yeah,
That is the true definition right there of good culture. Look at
it
that
is.
in
Right?
that example. Well, have you ever, I guess, had a season where you questioned whether you could keep going? I mean, maybe it was last year because that's why you started it. Have you ever even been close to that? Or maybe somebody who has, like, I don't know if I can continue doing this.
All the time I say that, like, am I doing the right thing, right? Am I over this job? Am I over this role? Am I over this position? Especially dealing with difficult times and difficult people. And I've said it over and over again. I'm not going to do this anymore. And then you'll get an employee who needs something from you, and you can answer the question. You can make a real difference, or you can
Yeah.
there for the company, right? Because that's my job is to be there for the people for the company. And it makes a real difference. And then you're like, okay, I think I could stay another 3 months or I got another 6 months in me. Like your HR manager is no different from you. She gets sick of her job too. Or he. We get
Right.
jobs too. We don't want to do this anymore either. But just like you, just like every other position in the company, we keep showing up. One, we have a family to feed, we have a life to live. But two, nobody works in HR because they hate people. Because
Right.
why would you choose this? You didn't choose this. I don't hate
You have
people.
a difficult job. Right.
You just have a difficult job, but we keep showing up. So yeah, I've said it several times. I'm never doing this again. I'm not gonna do this. But I keep showing up for the people
Yeah.
that need me, and that's important.
If you were to give advice to someone, anyone listening who feels emotionally drained like that, but they still have people depending on them, what advice would you give them?
You need a vacation. I'm a strong proponent of a vacation, and I don't mean I'm going to do a staycation. I'm going to stay home with the cleaning and the laundry and the cooking and the grocery
Mm.
shopping. I'm going to stay home with all of this. You are still working
Yep.
and you need a break. And I say it all the time, like, I am a huge even amongst our leadership team at work, I'm like, "You need a vacation." Like, you need to
Yeah.
take this time away. I talk to employees about it. You have this vacation. Why are you sitting on 300 PTO hours and you are burned out? Clearly, take the time away.
Yeah.
Book a hotel 4 cities away. Right? Like, build a travel budget into your lifestyle. Like, that's what I do. I have a travel budget and I contribute to it every time I get paid because I know that I need 2 breaks a year. 2. I know that I need this in order to
To
continue on.
continue.
You are not a machine, you are not a robot. You cannot keep going at the same pace or you will break. So, either you take a vacation or you'll get put into a vacation and not the type that you want. It's
Oh my god.
you.
Yeah. Okay. Okay. I'm gonna listen. I'm gonna go on vacation. No, you're so right. You're speaking to me. Little did you know. I
Yeah.
other mothers can relate out there, right? Women in business because we really do have triple the load. And I don't go on vacation. I don't go on vacation. It's either for the kids and I take them on vacation and we all know when you take your kids with you it's not a vacation.
For
Right?
you.
And then when I do have time off, I need to catch up. I need to do stuff in the house. I need to do So I think you're absolutely right giving that advice because when I don't do vacation, I'm often thinking I need to check myself in somewhere because I don't feel okay.
And you're
Yeah.
not because your mind is constantly racing and going, like, without, like, some like, we have to shut when you use your computer, like, day in and day out, what does it say? "Hey, you need to do a restart. You need to restart this thing." Why do you think you're any different? You need a restart. You need to shut it down, clear out all the old cookies, right? And
100.
start over. Like, I am going to take a vacation. I'm going to take 2 major vacations a year. I don't apologize for that. Do I ever take my laptop? Yes, because I am a department of one and we've got to make sure employees get paid and that if they need something, I'm kind of available. But I don't just sit there all day, like waiting for an email to come through. I'm not enjoying my life. Hey, okay, I'm at a show in London, but as soon as I get back to my laptop, I'll get to this. Like,
Yep.
I talked to our leadership team about it. Take it, go see your grandkids. What are you doing? It's okay.
Right. Life is too short.
It's
It really is to not enjoy those little things.
it is.
If there's one thing that you would want people to leave with today, that are listening, what would that be?
Own your life. That's so important to me. Own your own life. We always wait for someone to tell us that something is okay, that it's okay. Like, I was speaking to someone before and they were afraid to quit their job and I'm like, this is your life. Like,
Right.
do whatever you wanna do with it. Like, you could quit, you could stay, you could change your mind, and you can quit and then say, "Hey, I think I'm gonna stay." But I think owning your own life gets rid of animosity to your job because
Yeah.
own your life and you're not tying it to the job and the rules of that job because every company is going to have rules. You're going to just keep it's Groundhog Day. You're going to just keep living the same life at a different place with different people. I call it, you're just going to get another shirt with another logo on it and that's it. But you're going to keep having the same life if you don't own your own life.
Yeah, and don't fear change because change is growth, right? And so I think
It
that's why a
really
lot
is.
of people do stay stagnant but complain.
But
So,
complain.
right, move, own your life.
Yeah.
No, it's true. I love it. Where can people reach out to you? Because I know there's going to be some interested professionals, possibly for HRXL next year, but just, if you want to share the website for that. And of course, she's on LinkedIn. I'll have the link for everyone.
Yes. LinkedIn is a good place. Char Exhale, EXHALE, the website.com. There's a HR Exhale group on LinkedIn, Instagram, Facebook page, like everywhere you want to be, we're already
It's
there.
there. I love it. After that just shows like your dedication and work ethic. And I think I might have to join some HR groups so I can attend next year.
You know
I'm
what?
independent, right? I'm actually my own HR.
You are. So you know what? Then you are an HR professional.
Awesome. Well, Nakia, And we've spoke a couple times, and each time I just say I really, really enjoy talking to you. You bring this energy even over camera, and you've brought such an honest perspective today to everyone. And I really hope everybody listening understands HR a little more clearly now and what you guys are going through,
Yeah.
and that you guys are people too. But if this episode resonated with any of you, make sure you share it with someone in leadership, HR, or really anyone who's carrying more than people realize behind the scenes, because we are all carrying something behind the scenes that we're
It's the
not showing.
caregivers. Yeah.
Absolutely. And as always, thank you again. And for everyone being here on the Authentic Advantage, I'll see you next time.
Bye.